An alternative for forming my contact list in Gmail is to use Google Docs with the Google Forms to actually help me create my list of students or parents or whatever I'm trying to create. So if I go into Google Docs and I create new, and I'm going to create a new form because the form shoots out a thing someone can fill out, and then I get a spreadsheet of the information. So in my form, at the top, you may have this option as well about requiring a login. You want to make sure that's clicked off so that everyone can actually access this form. I'm going to call this contacts, say, first period. Sample question 1, I'm going to make first name. And you want to keep these specific names. I'll make it required. Sample question 2, I push the pencil. I'm going to make this last name. And the reason I need these specific names is because this is how it's going to be recognized when it's entered into the contacts with Gmail, and they have to have specific headers. And the last one will be email. I'll make this required. Now say with email you want to make sure you get the correct one. What you can always do is say in the help text is you could write your school Gmail only. And so it shows up telling them which email you want, but that won't show up in the header, so you can still use it as you need to. Now I need to push save. And I'm going to take my hyperlink, I'm going to highlight it, I'm going to right click, copy. I'm going to go back to my Moodle, and I can go to each of those periods and put it at the very top. I can add a resource, make it a link to a website, and I'm going to call it the contact form because that's what it is. I delete out this HTTP and I actually paste in my own, and I can have it open up in a new window, or I can change that to whatever you like. I'm going to save and return to course. So now what my students will do is they would come in, they'd click on this contact form link, and they will fill in their information right here. So they could do Anthony Dove, Gmail. I'll just do a couple different ones. Doesn't even matter. Just to give you an idea, I'll do one more. Okay, so they would have filled it out. I'm going to close this. I don't need this form. If I go back to my Google Docs and I refresh it, my contacts first period appears. Now if I click on it, it will open up in a spreadsheet. And this is exactly what I want. A column for first name, a column for last name, and a column for email. The one thing I have to do before I actually export it into something I can use is I'm going to have to wait till everyone does this, and then I'm going to take this column which says timestamp, I right click, and I delete column. And I have to delete the timestamp for this to work correctly. So that's why you want to make sure you get all the contacts for this specific group beforehand. Next part, I go File, I go Download As, and I'm going to download it as a CSV. That's important. And I just save file, and you can save it wherever that you know you can find it. Mine saves automatically to the desktop. So now I can go back to my Gmail, go to Contacts, and I'm going to go Import in the top right here. I browse for that file I just created, which was on my desktop, and it's called Contacts First Period. I open it. Now this is important too. I want to put them in a specific group, so I click also add these contacts to. If I've created the group name, I could add them to the group name. If I haven't, I can keep it as new group. But when I push import, I can put in the very name that I want to use. And now you look here, geometry first period, there's all 3 people within that contact list. So now all I have to do is I can go to compose an email, I click on the 2, I choose from my contact list geometry first period, I click all, done, and then all of my names will show up and I can send my email.